This podcast is brought to you by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Buy one window or door and get the second one at 40% off. No money down, payments, or interest for 1 year for qualified buyers. Check this deal out by visiting RBACentralPADeals.com. That's RBACentralPADeals.com, or by calling 717-836-1080. Deal ends April 30th. You know, you guys always listen to me, so I'd like to return the favor and start listening to you. Tell me what you think about the stories covered here or on Penn Live for Listening to Listeners, an upcoming Today in PA segment where I'll read your opinions to make sure you have a say in the news. Be sure to email me at todayinpa@PennLive.com. That's todayinpa@PennLive.com with your name and where you're from, and I'll be sure to read it every other Friday starting May 12th. Looking forward to hearing from you. A soon-to-be-introduced bill would allow independents to vote in primaries. Meanwhile, one school district wants to start classes later. You may have to wear a life jacket when on the state's waterways for longer in the future. Lastly, an auction offered something to bidders that they could really sink their teeth into. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and you're listening to Today in PA. Over 1.2 million registered voters in Pennsylvania can't partake in primary voting, reports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Senators Lisa Boscola and Dan Laughlin would like to change that. The two plan on introducing a bill that would allow for voters not affiliated with either of the two major parties to cast ballots during primaries. Pennsylvania, in fact, is one of only 9 states to not do this already, the others including Delaware and New York. While similar bills have failed to come to fruition in the past, Boscola believes now's the perfect time for such legislation, as polarization seems to be the worst it's ever been. This bill, says Boscola, is, quote, about shaking up this system that relies too much on those extremes. The status of this bill remains pending. The Upper St. Clair School District is quote-unquote committed to starting school later, reports Pittsburgh's Action News 4. This is something it's actually been trying to do since the 90s, but according to Superintendent Dr. John Rosso, the district is now making a greater push to make it happen this upcoming fall. The district explains via statement how not getting enough sleep is associated with several negative health habits students can pick up, such as smoking and drinking. The district adds a later start time may also lead to better attendance and a student body that's more high energy. The plan would be to push back the high school start time from 7 a.m. to 8. The middle school would start at 8:55 a.m. and the elementary school 8:35. This means, of course, that classes would end later in the day as well. The final recommendation for the change will be presented for approval at next month's school board meeting. Boaters in Pennsylvania may have to wear life jackets a little bit later than usual in the future, states the York Daily Record. President of the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission's board, Robert B.J. Small, asked the agency this week to extend the cold water life jacket requirement for an additional month starting next year, meaning it would end June 1st. Small argues that more lives could be saved with this extension as many bodies of water remain cold after the current requirement end date, which is April 30th. The board will discuss this proposal further during its June 5th meeting. The fate of the Oakwell Estate House and Gardens in Villanova is still up in the air, says PennLive. Some people want to preserve the 1922 mansion as is, while others want it converted to athletic fields for a school. But that's not what this segment's about. It's about an auction for the items once kept at the estate that was held the other day, and how among these items there were not 1, not 2, but 3 vampire slaying kits. Yup. The 3 kits were up for grabs along with some antique garden furniture and whatnot, and went for the starting price of $1,500. Who bought them or why they were on the estate on the first place remains unknown. Let's just hope the next owner of the estate isn't actually buying Salem's lot. That wraps up today's episode. For more news, check out PennLive.com. Also, please don't forget to rate this podcast in either Apple or Amazon and to share it around with your family and your friends. Thanks ahead of time, and as always, thanks for listening. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and I'll see you for Friday's episode of Today in PA. This podcast is brought to you by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Buy one window or door and get the second one at 40% off. No money down, payments, or interest for 1 year for qualified buyers. Check this deal out by visiting RBACentralPADeals.com. That's RBACentralPADeals.com, or by calling 717-836-1080. Deal ends April 30th.